Hi Bob.
Back again.
Back again. So we wanted to give some of the field salespeople some techniques that they could use to improve their ability to sell to their client base.
Yeah.
And I came across this white paper here. That,
oh, is this the one you were telling me about?
That's right. Yeah, it comes across. It's a survey actually that's done by Nightingale Conant, and they surveyed 2,500 organisations across Europe and the USA, and these were sales organisations, and they found that 5 issues which actually dilute the whole sales process and reduce salespeople from performing at their best.
Right. So they've done this research and they've come up with these these are the main issues.
Yeah.
These 5 issues. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So one of the issues, and hopefully if I can give you the issue, and then people will relate to that issue.
Okay.
And then you might be able to give us a technique.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what they've got to say actually.
So issue 1 was poorly defined sales processes. So what they found was that the average prospect says no 7 times before they said yes.
Okay.
Now there's quite a lot of research out there that suggests that the average prospect gives you a lot of no's. Some even go up to 12 no's before you get the sale.
Yeah.
And others say you have to follow up for 2 years. But what we're finding within this research and this survey, it suggested 80% of salespeople give up on their first no. Now there'll be people watching this now, Bob, and they'll be going, no, that's not me.
They'll be saying, no, that's not me.
But are they? Well, my question to them is, are they consistent? Now, no doubtly, they've had lots of no's from the same client from time to time, but do they consistently persist with everyone across the board until they've either sold them or their competitors beaten them? That's it. If you've defined your client and you know they buy your product, then they're either going to buy from you at a certain time, or they're going to continue buying with their competitor.
Yeah.
We're not talking here about trying to speak to people who clearly
don't want your product or service,
and will never have a need. We're talking about people that you've done some due diligence and you understand that client.
And it's trying to get to that yes, if you like, to get them to, and the ultimate yes being the signing of the contract.
Yeah. So how could we get them? How could we get our customer, our field salespeople to get their customers to say yes more often than they say no? Have you got any techniques?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, there's a very simple technique, and it comes from the world of therapy and hypnosis actually, and all communication is seen as hypnotic. And that's considered true by all psychiatrists and psychologists and researchers.
Yeah.
And it's that technique. They call it the yes set.
Right.
Okay. And they reckon that if you can get 4 to 5 yeses out of someone consistently, one after another, in close conjunction.
Right. So you mean in the same sales?
In
meeting?
the same sales meeting.
Right.
Okay. If you can get that yes 4 or 5 times, there won't be a problem with them automatically saying yes to when you put that order in front of them. So I mean, and it's not that complex.
No, it sounds obvious, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And getting someone to say yes doesn't mean yes to the sale itself. It means saying yes to you as a person.
Right.
So it's at a personal level.
Okay.
So you could get them to say, oh, if your client, for example, you're aware that they've just been on a holiday or whatever, and you say, how was the holiday? They go, it was fine. You have a good time? Yes. That's one yes.
Right,
doesn't have to be directly related.
So it's a bit of a sneaky yes.
It's a sneaky yes. There's your first yes.
Holiday.
The fact that they're seeing you is an unconscious yes.
Okay.
So in a sense, when they've agreed to see you, and they like what they've seen, hence they're meeting with you, they're interested, that's already an unconscious yes.
Right.
So you've got a yes at an unconscious level without being verbalised.
Okay.
Then your job is to get a couple of more yeses, essentially. And that, as I say, the sneaky method, as you called it. And it's not sneaky, because when you meet a client, you do want to get on with them, I think, if you're a good salesman.
Yeah.
It's about building a relationship. And saying to someone, was it a great holiday? And they say yes, that's great, that's fine, that's not sneaky, that's a genuine question.
Okay.
And thanks for seeing me today. I noticed the company's doing very well at the moment in the FT index. They go, yeah, we're doing very well.
Okay, so do your research before you go.
Yeah, always do a bit of research.
Mention a bit of news.
Always I think it's always important to do a bit of research to show the customer that you actually have Yeah, there's a sense of care. You want to build a relationship.
Okay.
You know, you don't want to. You know, the worst thing you can do is go on a blind date with a customer. You know, and not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Get that little bit of research in there. That's an important part of the sales process.
Okay.
Anyway, we're talking about, you know, what is it? A poorly defined sales process. Part of the process, of course, is going to be doing a bit of homework. And if you want to be a successful salesman, and I know there's a lot of you out there who do, then it's important. Get that research done. Then you're in a better position to get those yeses.
So we've had a couple of yeses, right?
And then you want to take things further.
Okay.
And whatever your next question might be is, okay, can we move ahead with this deal? Would you like to sign the contract? Depends on the service or the type of industry you're working. Because as you know, some of these, you may have to have 3 or 4 meetings in order to get to the final yes. Some sales are very, very simple. You know, like vending, for example, or communications equipment. That's a capital equipment sale where you want to get that yes at that meeting.
Yeah.
It tends not to drag on.
Okay.
Whereas other things, like where you're trying to offer training or something like that, you're providing a service, may take a few more meetings just to get to that final yes. But you still need to get yes for that next meeting.
Okay, so you need to plan some questions.
Plan some questions ahead of time. Understand your client and their needs, and what is their business. If you don't know what this creative artistic agency you're going in does, find out.
Yeah.
And that's easy nowadays because you go on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we're saying how many yeses do we need?
4 to 5 yeses.
So 4 to 5 yeses, and that's going to increase their likelihood of winning that deal.
Of saying yes to whatever it is you need to close the deal.
So we can start off with some sort of minor yeses about
generic
personal
chit-chat.
Generic chit-chat.
Yeah.
And then we need them to start saying yes to some of the whatever you're selling, the product or service that you're selling.
When I saw you today, I said, "Look, nice weather today." Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely weather today. Yeah. You're getting the person into that frame of mind, into that mindset of saying yes. And you're building rapport very quickly.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting a yes, then as you're doing now, you see what you're doing now is giving minimal encouragers, nodding of the head. That's a yes.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be verbal.
Right.
That's an unconscious yes. When the client does that.
Yeah.
And there's an old sales trick from back in the day, and I remember learning it a long, long time ago, back in the 80s. Nod, and the customer will often follow you.
Yeah.
And you're getting an unconscious. Yeah, I like what this guy says.
Okay, that's brilliant, Bob. So that's the yes set.
Yeah, that's a simple technique called the yes set. With regard to sales process, there's lots and lots of techniques, different techniques we can talk about on that field, on that area there.
Well, let's do that on the next one then.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, thanks, Bob.